Bolanle, without sounding too pessimistic,
yes.
You've been at this now for over 20 years now, or about 20 years, really, you know, having left school and all that. But can you begin to hazard how many years it's going to take us to get our people to change their focus, to begin to look at the fact that if you don't promote our culture, if you don't promote that which defines us, we don't have any identity. So how many more years do we need to go before we get there?
Your guess is as good as mine. I've learned one thing. I try not to focus on what others are doing anymore. I do what I can do. You know, they say your sphere of influence, you impact it. That's why we have governments. Governments are supposed to do a lot more. They're supposed to be like our umbrella. If they're not doing it, I just say I'm not in a position to advise them to do so.
Whatever this, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a slippery slope. We're already on it. It might continue. Somehow we might be able to stop the hemorrhaging, but that's not for me to cure, unfortunately.
I like this. Now, let's come back to Saro. Now, Saro is going to be on stage when and where, and then what are the things we should be looking forward to so we can have more clips from a producer if we have that with them in the control room. So when is this going to be on?
Saro is going to be on the 25th, 26th, and 27th of October at the Oriental Grand Banquet Hall in Victoria Island. Thereafter, we're going to move to another center, which we'll announce later because we want the focus to be on Oriental. And later in the year, early next year, we're probably going to be partnering with Muzon Center as well.
Oh, you're telling me it's going to be a roadshow for you?
Oh, yes. We're going to do about it. You can't invest that much money. And you know, this is again going back to infrastructure. Typically, a play like Saro should be in a permanent space for about a year. So people, you know how it's done.
Like Broadway.
Yes. You know, but because we don't have that space, we have to move it around. And you can't invest so much work and talent and money and then decide that you're going to show it for 3 days. It's not going to work. So we're hoping also that we'll get investors that can take it abroad for us so that we also start exporting our culture. So we're looking at Ghana, we're looking at London, and we're already in discussions with some people. So what we want to do is to have the grand opening at the Oriental. Once that is done, we'll be able to come on air again and advise.
We are also taking it on. Now, okay, but Bolanle, are you not shocked the way Ipitombi seemed to have caught up with Nigeria in a way that everybody seemed to be, for a while in our country, we just went South African?
Yes, because because South Africa invested in their people, they invested in stage. You know, look at, I mean, South Africans, I've had the privilege of living in Southern Africa. I mean, we're culturally, as far as I'm concerned, we're more advanced.
Yes.
But we're not packaged right. So, you know, they bring in proper directors, they have all this, they have stages, they have theaters. So things are done right. So all of a sudden, Ipitombi, Patapata becomes popular. I mean, what makes Patapata more appealing to our own eco bagbere, you know? So it's about packaging, honestly. And again, it goes back to what we're saying also, that corporate Nigeria probably doesn't want to sponsor things that they feel is not at the standard that they're looking for.
Yeah, but if you don't start, how are we going to get to the standard? Okay, well, Bolanle, before you answer that question, my producer is saying that we'll take a break shortly now so we can take some breather. Okay. Bolanle Austen Peters is still here. She's the head of Terra Culture, and she's been talking to us about Saro. Saro will be on the street soon, and we'll expect you to join us in other experience. Appetite a little bit more. So, how many scenes do we have in Saro, and how large is the cast?
Saro is a cast of about 100 people.
Excuse me.
Yes, we have a 25-man orchestra, and they've been working with us for the last almost.
It's going to be live orchestra then?
Yes.
Live music?
Correct. And every, out of the maybe 20 pieces, about 8 were written and arranged by the music director and his team. And I can tell you, there's going to be an album out of this for sure, because the reception at the preview was unbelievable.
Okay, you had a preview?
Yes, we just had a select group of sponsors that we wanted to have a look to see what we were doing and to see the level at which we were trying to operate. And I can say that, you know, some of them have come on board, and we're very grateful to them for their support. So we have, yes, a 25-man orchestra. We have a 100-man cast and crew. And again, you know, going back to what we're saying, you know, a lot of people since this has come out now, people are coming, a lot of young people who want to work have been asking, how can we be part of it, you know? That shows you that, you know, people are willing to work, but it's just, they don't have the opportunity, you know, it's just not there. Yes, the platform is not there for them.
Okay, now, that brings again to the table the question of, you've also, at Terra Culture, you've had programs, you know, for young persons, for out-of-work people, and all that and all that. How much of this can you, and okay, what would be the entry level, for instance? I mean, somebody will probably be watching now and will want to call you and say, okay, Mrs. Austen Peters, I want to come to your place tomorrow. I don't have work. So what do you do?
I mean, we can only take you if we have work. If there's no work, there's nothing I can do. The truth of the matter is, when there is a production of this magnitude, we send text messages out and by email as well. And we try to reach as many people as possible. For instance, when we did the text blast for Saro, we had over close to 300 people apply, and what you do is you do an audition. We have clips of that as well. So the audition process, you look at the ability. I mean, 90% of our cast are actually trained either actors or dancers or
art practitioners.
Correct. And some of them went to school in Nigeria, some in America. Some have worked on Broadway. That's to tell you, yes.
Wow.
Yes, I know one or two that were in Hairspray and one or two other productions abroad. But my focus has always been who can do the job best, you know, to be quite candid. So we have people who, it's not necessarily a university degree that is paramount. What is critical is that you're trained. I mean, if you
can deliver.
Yeah, if you're serious enough, you should get some form of training. So that's what informed our choices.
Okay, now are we going to have a little bit of Nollywood in this presentation?
I think there are one or two Nollywood actresses. Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay, now
she trained primarily Dakore Akonde. She trained as I think theater practitioner originally. Yes, so she's got the vocals as well as the acting skills.
Now, okay, how many more of these are we locking up somewhere? Just give me like a, you know, like a scoop. I mean, you have done Saro, so are we going to be looking more at such huge presentations again?
Absolutely. You know, like I said, the plan is to at least tour this for about a year. It's critical that, you know, people see it. You don't do this kind of thing and then hide it. And then maybe annually. We're looking at every year or maybe every 2 years, depending on the reception, you know.
For this,
then we'll decide how often we want to do that.
Okay, now we have a flyer here. Maybe you want to tell us what we're going to be seeing. It says 9 shows.
Yes.
9 shows in 3 days.
Correct. There's going to be there's this flyer that tells you what we're doing. Billboards will go up this week as well, and we're going to be on various stations also publicizing what we're doing. It's, like I said, 100-man cast. It's 9 shows at the Oriental from the 25th to the 25th, 26th, and 27th. And there'll be 3 shows daily. And you can see some of the actors and actresses that are there. They're all beautiful, gifted, and committed actors and actresses. And it's just a joy to work with them.
But I saw a strange face there.
Yes,
looking like a son. Did you have somebody to come in from abroad to come and?
You know, it's interesting. I also asked her this. Her name is Adesua. She's actually full Nigerian. Yes, but very fair skin. I asked her as well. There's no
foreign faces there.
I think a couple of them are fair skinned. Oh well, some of them are of mixed parentage.
Okay.
So yes. So,
all right. So now
it also helps cut across.
Yes, I was just going to say that. And look, this is like, it's not static about this. This is culture, and therefore it must, you know, it must spread across. Correct. Now, but how did it go with you and this cast that you have? Were you pleased with the deliveries? Were you happy, or were you a little bit troubled at some point?
No. The only thing that troubled me was the interpretation of my script. I worked with 2 young men that did a phenomenal job with the script writing, Seun Kentebe and Thomas Odia. And also, by the time we found Makinde Adeniro, who is also a trained director, practitioner, he's worked all over the world, and he joined our team, I was clear that
You're on right course.
I could go to sleep, yes. And you know, again, I must tell you that we have amazing young people in Nigeria, committed. They're coming every day at 9 o'clock. They don't leave till 5. And they're doing physically demanding routines, as in they're jumping, dancing, you know, to learn to choreograph 100 people in different. It's not an easy feat. But they've been able to pull it off and do it with such passion and joy. It's fulfilling.
I like to believe that. Now, besides plays that you normally put up, what else can you do at Terra Culture? What other things do you ask the Nigerian public to come in and enjoy? We
have book readings from time to time. Like
book
last
readings.
year, yes, we do. We do book readings. Last year, we had the last book that we presented. We had a couple of very high-profile people. It was Wole Soyinka's book, and you must set forth at dawn, I think. So himself, Tony Elumelu, Obi Ezekwesili, Konya Ajayi.
They came there to read the book?
Yeah, so we had like a mini. It was a fantastic event. Patu Tomi. It was about 6 of them on the panel, and what we did was we took excerpts from the book and had a conversation about it, and the audience were allowed to participate, so that, you know, you get into the mind of great people like Wole Soyinka. I get the public to realize that books, you know, are not intimidating. We should actually get back into the culture. And it's a beautiful thing now that we see around that a lot more people are writing, and you know, all of us are now getting back to our creative
elements.
Inner being, yes.
Okay, but this, what you just mentioned now, this kind of presentation, this book reading thing, do we have such programs planned for schools, or to catch them?
What we have. No, we don't do that for kids. What we have for kids, we have excursions, by the way, where a mini museum. What we do is we have an excursion. Every week there's a minimum of 2 schools that come in. That's when we tell you about 10,000 kids have been to Terra Culture. It's because we have a package. We talk to a lot of schools on the island and also off the island. And what they do is they come in and we take them through the gallery. We explain how art is created, the different oils and you know, the media that is used for creating art. And then more importantly, we educate them about Nigerian artists. A lot don't know Bruce Onobrakpaya. They don't know who Kolade Oshinowo is, simply because there is no education about it. And also in Saro, we do a little bit of education. We tell people a little bit of the history of Lagos, because some people are beginning to say it's no man's land. But in reality, there's some people that were here before. So these are some of the things that we feel government should be really concerned about. You're not teaching the history
of the people
to the people. We're learning foreign history. And your question earlier about foreign invasion. When there's a vacuum will always be filled. So it's what you give people that they will imbibe. So if there's no history, we don't know about, you know, I learned about Ghana. You know, I was in international school, and we learned about Songhai Empire. We learned about Ghana, the Ashanti,
Mali Empire.
Mali. I know about all these things. My kids don't. You don't know about Lagos. We don't know anything. I remember the Oyo Empire, the Are Ono Kakanfo.